So you're wondering if you should leave them or not. Girl, trust me, I have been there before we even talk. Well, one, if you hear little clicky clacks, it's my little dog Daisy. She is very needy. But before we even discuss, trust me, I have been there. I got out of a 4-year relationship, and it was like my first time breaking up with someone, my first time leaving a relationship, and I was so scared, and it had been such a long time coming where I just was like over it and didn't know basically what to do, if I should stay, if I should leave. So let's talk about it, and I totally get where you're coming from. So the first thing I would say in this conversation of should you leave them or not is ask yourself, what would I do if I wasn't afraid? And that's such a basic question, but sometimes it really comes down to that of like, what would I do if I wasn't afraid of hurting someone? What would I do if I was putting myself first? And what would I do if I was really being true to myself? Because so many times, like, we're worried about hurting them. We're worried about, like, am I going to ruin their life? Are they ever going to move on? Am I going to miss them like a month later? And that's so normal, but be so for real with yourself. Like, seriously, be so freaking for real right now. What would you do if you weren't afraid? And if your answer is already like, Daisy, stop it. If your answer is already like, I'd leave them, then you have your answer right there. And I hate to say it, but a lot of times if you're even asking yourself this question, like, should I be with them? Should I not? Should I stay? Should I go? You kind of know that you should go. If you're asking yourself that question and you're being so for real with yourself, you probably should leave. And that's a really hard decision. I mean, when I was 4 years into my relationship, I knew I wasn't happy, and like deep down in my heart, I knew like this wasn't the person for me. Had been talking a little bit about engagement and stuff like that, and I was really just like, oh, that is not something, like, I don't know if I see myself with this person forever. It just was not something, like, I didn't want to take that next step. And so I really had to like get real with myself and think about it. And I feel like the first sign of like maybe you shouldn't be with this person and maybe you should consider that is if you start like weaning off of them, if you want to spend less time with them, if you'd rather spend time out with your friends or out and about or out at the club, out at the bar, or even like one thing that I would do would be like, I would work late. And I am not a work late girl. Trust me, I will do anything to get out of work early. But that was like when I started kind of wanting to work late, then I was like, I really just don't want to go home. Like, that's what it is. I don't want to go home because I lived with my person back then. I didn't want to go home. I just wanted to spend less time around them. And I couldn't really identify a specific reason why. But it was like they started getting on my nerves more. When they would just talk about their day or talk about like random stuff, I was just like getting irritated. Like something about it wasn't hitting the same as it used to. I was just like irritated. And that's not a good feeling for either person. That's not good for you because you're just starting to get resentful, to be honest. You're starting to resent them for literally nothing they're doing, but they're also going to start feeling that and being like, okay, am I annoying? So if you're starting to feel like you want to just like distance yourself from this person and you want to spend less and less time with them, that's probably like sign number one that they're not your forever person. And that's another thing, like, unless you're younger, you know, in your teens or early 20s and you're just dating to date and stuff like that, it's fine. But once you get in your 20s and your later 20s, it's like, we're not dating just to date anymore. We're dating to find our person. We're dating to get married. We're dating to start a new life for ourselves, a future. And if you're not seeing that with that person already, end it. End it. Like, stop wasting your time. Stop wasting their time. If you don't see yourself being in a long-term relationship with that person, just end it. Because something my dad would always tell me, and I'd be like, yeah, dad, whatever. But then I was like, damn, he's kind of right on that. Is like, my dad would always say, the more time you spend with the wrong person is the less time you get to spend with the right person. And that is so true. Like, I believe that your soulmate and your person is going to find you no matter what in perfect timing that works for you both. But like, if you are staying with somebody and you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you're really wasting both of your time. And it's really not fair to either one of you guys. And another thing I think you can tell is like when it's starting to feel not right for you is when you lose that intimacy. And I'm not just talking about like that intimacy, even though that counts too. Like if you just don't, hug them, kiss them, you're not like physically attracted to them, or you don't have that physical connection anymore, like that is so important. And some people, they're not super physical from the start, and I get that. But if you were, or if that's the type of person you are in your heart and you're not with that person, that's a big sign that they probably are not like your forever person, your soulmate, all that. And on that point, like if your love language is physical touch and you are a physical touch type of girly and you've been that way with every other person and you're not that way with your partner now, that's also a sign that like you might want to leave, not for just that specific reason, but like those are type of things where you might just not vibe together. Like fundamental things of there's not anything wrong with you, but I'm a physical touch type person, and if I don't feel that chemistry with you, or if you're not giving me physical touch when you know that's my love language and what I want, that can be a sign of maybe you should leave. They're probably not on the same wavelength as you. And sometimes at the beginning of the relationship, we overlook little things like that. But when you think about being with someone long term, those things add up. Like with my last person, we were never physically affectionate towards each other. Like we didn't hug and stuff like that. And, oh, you think it's fine at the beginning, but as time goes on, it's like it's not fine. You don't feel that closeness to someone. Like you don't feel like you can come home and you're so excited to cuddle up or snuggle up on that person or anything like that. So that's another thing. If you guys have like completely opposite love languages, but to the point where it's starting to annoy you or it bothers you deep down and you're just not saying anything about it, I think that you should really consider if they're the person for you or not. I think the biggest thing to just think of when you're wondering if you should leave the relationship is, am I being true to myself? Is this really what's in my heart? And am I just afraid of all the consequences of all that's to come? When I was with my last partner, we lived together. That was super hard. And you just think of all the things. What if I leave and it messes up our friendships? Or what if they're so devastated? But you seriously only get one life to live. Like, you are responsible for your own happiness. And it might be hard to believe this, but you are not responsible for their happiness. Only yours. You have to do what's right for you. Because if you don't think you guys are soulmates and you don't think that you both are the one for each other, you're not. Like, point blank period, you're not. People who are soulmates or are like life partners have that mutual feeling for each other. It's not one person so into the other person and the other person's like 50-50 and they get married and make it work. No, both people are standing on the same wavelength of like, I'm really into this person. I really like them. So if you're already wondering, like, should I leave this person? I don't know if they're for me. You probably just should, because most people, all relationships are hard. Do not get me wrong. But most people don't actually think about leaving or aren't actually like on shaky ground when it comes to their person. And I think just, again, like thinking if you should leave them or not, just ask yourself, are the things that I'm taking issue with, or are the things that are like giving me a weird, icky feeling, are they fundamental value things? Or is it like, we just had a fight and now I'm worried, or I think he might be cheating on me, or stuff like that. Like, those things really matter too. Fights and cheating, anything like that really matters. But when it comes down to the fundamentals of who you are as a person and who they are as a person, sometimes like people do not change on the stuff they're rooted in. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with you. But you two just might not be a good match. And that is totally okay. For example, if you feel like you can't talk about the stuff you're super passionate about or the stuff that you really like without them being like, oh, that's stupid, or like somehow shutting you down or like picking it apart, that is a big like red flag. Like, that is something really where you might want to walk away. Because again, in my last relationship, I'm a big manifestation person. I love manifestation. And when I first found out about it, like, you're so shocked by it. You want to talk about it a lot. And you want to talk about it with someone who's just going to be like, oh, that's cool. Or someone who's just going to listen at the least. And my ex would just like shut it down. Be like, there's no way that's possible. No way that's going to happen. And, you know, I think he could tell I was really passionate about it. And I thought it was really cool. But he still, like, even if he disagreed, he had to say it. And I'm married now, and my husband, like, he lets me talk about anything, and even if he doesn't agree, he never shuts me down, or he never makes me feel stupid, or he's never like, how could you ever believe that, or anything like that. Even if he doesn't agree, he'll always listen, and he'll always like hear me out. And same with him. He talks about stuff, I have no idea what he's talking about. He talks about stocks all the time. He listens to stock videos. I don't know what's going on in those videos. I could not tell you. I don't have a clue. But it never bothers me when he talks about it, because it's like we have that mutual respect for each other, that mutual love for each other, to listen to each other, talk about the other's passions and what they learned today and something cool. And, you know, I think that's a big sign of a lasting relationship. And going on that note, you know, we both have bad days at work. We both have stressful jobs, and we come home and we'll talk about it for a little bit. But when we're together, it's like our focus is on each other. I mean, we both do stuff around the house and all this stuff like normal couples, but when we're together, it's like, what do we want to do tonight as a couple, as a partnership? And that's something I don't think I ever had in a relationship before. You know, we get so in the habit of when we live with someone, a lot of the time it's just comfortable. Like, you're sitting on the couch with a friend. You're not there with your partner, the person you love. Like, you sit on your phone for hours and you scroll and there's something on in the background TV, but you're not watching it. You're not doing things together, creating that bond, that connection, that intimacy. And now that I am married to someone who's 100% my soulmate and who I love so much and who I manifested, we always watch movies together, pick them out together, watch stuff together. And if we want to have phone time, we have our phone time, but it'll be like half hour or even an hour long, being honest. We have our phone time, we sit together, but still, like, we'll hold hands, or he'll put his hand on my knee, so we still feel that closeness. And, you know, after that, we turn it off and we put the TV on. And another thing, we always go to bed together. Even if one of us is about to go to sleep and the other wants to read or watch TV, we always go up and lay in bed together, because it's just like the closeness of it. And I think if you don't have that closeness, if you don't do those types of things with the person you're with and you want to, that is a big sign that I don't think they're your person. And you'll know that. You know in your heart if you're not getting as much as you want. Like, if you want a simple thing like going up to bed with your partner and they play on your phone while you fall asleep and lay on them, that's not that much of an ask. Or let's say you like going on walks a lot and you want your partner to go with you and they're like, no, I don't feel like doing that. That's not a lot. Like, again, be so for real with yourself and the things that you want. And where are you sacrificing? Are you having to sacrifice a lot of the stuff that you want because your partner can't meet those needs? And I'm not talking like physical, buying you stuff, taking you on dates. Like, sometimes we all make money on our own time. But again, fundamentals of like who you are as a person, are they matching that or not? And really take a deep look in the mirror and ask yourself that question and reflect on your relationship. And I think, like, going off of that, a perfect thing you can do that'll really help narrow this down, like, should I leave them or not, or are they my person or not, is make a list of the things that are non-negotiable for you in a perfect relationship of like the person that you are going to marry. If you had to write down on a piece of paper, the person that I'm going to marry is like this. Fundamentally, not that they have money and all that stuff. I mean, that's great too. Think about that too. But like, are they affectionate? Do we hang out a lot together? I mean, do they have a lot of friends? Are they a social person? Are they more of an introvert? Who are they as a person? And then when you have that list, like, compare it to the relationship you're in now. If you want to be with someone who's an extrovert because you like going out and you like being social and you like doing things, but you're with someone right now who's an introvert and they don't ever want to go out, there is nothing wrong with either side. There's nothing wrong with your position. There's nothing wrong with theirs. Some people are just quiet and homebodies, but like, they probably don't want to be dragged out all the time. You don't want to ask them to go out all the time when you know they don't want to. So you both deserve something that probably both people aren't willing to change on forever. For a little bit of time, yeah, you can make it work. But you're not going to be happy at the end of the day because you're both sacrificing on, like, those are kind of the big fundamental things I'm talking about. And if you can sacrifice, that's a good sign of like you're both willing to make it work. Like maybe once a week you go out, or even once a month. But if you guys can't meet in the middle and neither one of you is willing to, you're just different people. Nothing wrong with that. There's gonna be someone out there for your partner who is perfect homebody, exactly what they need fundamentally. And there's going to be someone out there for you who's the same way. Perfect for you. Loves to go out. Loves to be social if that's what you want to do. But make a list of those things that are really, really important to you. And then ask yourself, are these things that are in my relationship now? And, you know, relationships are always better in the beginning. You're at the honeymoon phase. Everything's new. Everything's exciting. Everything's great. Some things change after a while, and it happens all the time. You're not going to go out as much and go on dates the way you did at the beginning, but are these things that my partner can do and they're choosing not to, or are they things we are just different about? And just ask yourself those big questions. Like, it really matters. And another thing I would say is, like, there's never a bad time to end the relationship. Yeah, there is. Like, if someone's like, close family member dies, don't do it on that day. But like, it doesn't matter how far you are in. It doesn't matter. If you've been with that person for 10 years and you know in your heart they're not the person for you, like, end it. Stop wasting even more time. If you've been there with them for 6 months, if you've been with them for 6 weeks and you're just like, I am not feeling this. Like, I know deep down in my heart, I want more and I'm sick of asking for it, or I want more of, I've asked them and they're not delivering. Like, just leave. You deserve so much better. You live one life. Life is too short to not be with the person that you want to be with, to not have what you want. I am with the absolute perfect person, and I'm so lucky. And people will ask me, like, how did you get basically the man of your dreams? And it's like, I held those standards for myself. It's like I had standards for myself. I made a list of exactly what I wanted, and I did not budge from that list. I did not budge from that list. If I went on a date with someone and they didn't meet their criteria, boom. I'm not making excuses. Life is too short to make excuses for someone or to lower your standards. And no one is going to meet your standards except you. Like, no one's going to hold someone accountable for your standards except you. You have to. You have to call the shots. You have to make the decision when it's been too long and you don't want to be with this person anymore. And you're not a bad person for that. You're not a bad person for wanting more. And it's not their fault they can't give it to you. They're not a bad person either. They're not lesser in any way. It's just you aren't on the same page. You aren't connected. And again, there is someone out there for them that'll fit their needs, and they will deliver them, and they will have their perfect person. And there's that same person out there for you. But be so freaking for real with yourself and raise your standards if you're unhappy. If you go through a period where every single day just feels like, oh, you're going through the motions, there's no passion, there's no connection, you're not happy. Like, be so honest with yourself. And like, also think about if you had a kid and they were in a relationship like that, would you tell them to stay? Because I bet you wouldn't. And my last simple piece of advice would be talk it out. Find a good friend and talk it out. Talk about it a lot. And in your heart, you'll know. Talk about it with girlfriends, talking about it with guy friends, get different perspectives, but stick to your heart, stick to what's on your soul and deep down. Like, meditate about it, journal about it. But I really think if you make that list about what you want that person to be like, personality-wise, value-wise, and your current partner isn't living up to those expectations, it's time to go. It is time. And I hate to say it like that, but, you know, do you want to be happy in this world, or do you want to have mediocre? Or do you want to just be comfortable? Only you can answer that question for yourself. Only you know what you want, and only you can be so honest with yourself and answer those questions. Bye.